on one side was being numb, and then she was dizzy, and she was very nervous, and her hands and her feet and whole body was cold. So I was trying to use the techniques that I've learned and to help her out. And because I was nursing her for about 6 hours, and then she was run to the hospital, and she found okay since then. So next time when I went to Vancouver again, she invited me to her house, and then she wanted to take me out for a big dinner or something. I said, you know what, do me a favor, don't ask me to eat, okay? Just bring me people for me to view hands, okay? So she finally invited about 10 people to her house and for me to view the hands. And I just want to practice more, okay? So I found that hands in Hong Kong, in Vancouver, and in Toronto, they're different. Because in Hong Kong, it's very polluted. People are very, very tense, okay? So everybody has liver stagnation because they're so nervous, okay? Working under high pressure. And because of the pollution, the color is different too. In Vancouver, most of the people are rich and retired. You could hardly find anything on their hand. All healthy. And in Toronto, it's half-half. So, you know, it's very, very different. And after we learn, we need to seize all the opportunity to view people's hands. So, you know, like everybody, whoever sits right beside me on the plane, I always say, can I see your hand? Wherever I go, I always watch with the hands, okay? Sometimes I go to seminars. When the speaker is speaking like this, just look. I'm just curious about, you know, how this guy is, okay? So this is how interesting and how serious I am, you know, like in studying hand diagnosis. So this is about me. And when I came back here, I was employed, okay, by insurance brokers as a marketing manager. But after half a year, I decided, you know, I want to get out of commercial field and I want to practice this. And Dr. Liu, later I'm going to introduce him, point to me. Actually, shall we go to another slide? Oh, by the way, I'm the Managing Director of Health in Hand Diagnostic Center. And I'm the only representative here in Toronto or in Canada representing the founder, okay, Dr. Liu Jianfeng, or the International Jianfeng Hand Health Medical Associations to promote this technique. To first Canadians, hopefully I can promote these techniques to North Americans too, okay? And next. Let me just go through a little bit about the seminar agenda today. The agenda, of course, will cover our founder, okay, Dr. Liu Jianfeng. And then, of course, we'll go through everything about hand diagnosis. What is hand diagnosis? The basic theories of hand diagnosis. Now, when I say HIH, that means health in hand, okay? Strengths and special features of hand diagnosis. And what are the benefits of learning this? And if you're interested in taking the course later, I will talk about the contents of the course. Last but not least, we will diagnose your hands today for free, okay? About Dr. Liu Jianfeng, he's pretty young, as you can see. He's just over 40. He is the founder of hand diagnostic technique. Actually, hand diagnostic technique is not a new medicine or new diagnostic techniques. We would talk about more about hand diagnosis. But first of all, Dr. Liu Jianfeng, he was born in Shantung province. Shantung province is on the east coast of China, just in between Beijing and Shanghai. So if you have ever gone to China or look at the map, then you know where approximately Shantung is. And he was graduated from Shantung University as a TCM doctor in 1986. He's now ranked 5th by the Chinese government on the list of 100 most outstanding and influential TCM doctors for the past 100 years. Last year, in September, there was a World TCM conference held in Beijing. Dr. Liu presented hand diagnosis, and it was very well received by over 60 countries, people, and over 800 participants from all over the world. They are either TCM doctors or clinical people or health practitioners. presently, Dr. Liu holds some of the following positions. I just, mentioned a few more important ones. He's the executive member of the Chinese Hand Diagnosis and Treatment Association. I just make a translation, so I don't know exactly whether this is the name, okay? And mind you, this is the only approved and recognized association by the government of China today. Hand Diagnosis Association. This is the only recognized hand diagnosis association by the government of China. And he's the chairman of Handheld Training Center of Chinese Association of Geriatrics Research. So geriatric research is for research for the sickness and the care of older people. And this association was established in Guangzhou. Guangzhou is the capital of Canton, which is on the southern part of China, right next to Hong Kong. Dr. Liu is the managing director of Beijing Liu Jianfu Medical Technology Center. In 2002, when I was in Beijing, he just moved into his office in a new commercial building, and I had the chance to visit his office. Chairman of the International Jianfeng Handheld Medical Association, and this was established in Hong Kong. And this association is to handle all the business, like the hand diagnosis business, like globally. I myself belong to this association. This is why I was personally appointed by Dr. Liu to promote this diagnostic technique here in Canada. Dr. Liu wrote a few books, and he owns all the patent right, both in China, and also he has registered his patent in the World Trade Organization TRIPS agreement. When he says he owns all this right, it includes the editing right, the right of promoting, the right of translating, the right of teaching. So if we haven't been appointed by him, we cannot teach. So we must be certified as an instructor in order to teach his hand diagnosis course. What is hand diagnosis? Jeff, can you give me a definition?
Well, I can show you my hand.
Can anybody give me a very simple definition if you understand?
I guess you look at the hand to see what color it is, and you go according to your chart.
Yes. Okay, that's very good. Good guess. Okay.
Palm reading?
Huh?
Palm reading?
Actually,
get
we're
that
not
a lot.
fortune telling.
Yeah,
okay?
that's good.
That's what someone asked
But
me
you,
where I was
yes,
going.
Yes.
I said hand reading
Palm reading,
technique.
yes.
They go palm reading, and I go
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Right?
And actually, hand diagnosis is the method whereby a person's physical condition is assessed and diagnosed by observing people's hand. It's quite simple, right? And in the world, Eastern and Western medicine, practitioners practice 3 types of hand diagnosis. Number 1 is what we call hand lines. So people study your health conditions according to hand lines. There are 2 kinds of hand lines on our hands. Guess what? Okay. Number 1 is what we call the surface lines. Those lines are above the skin. And the uniqueness of these lines are, since our birth until we die, they won't change. The example is like our fingerprints. And many practitioners use fingerprints to do some genetic research. Okay? And folding lines is the other lines. Folding lines is like palm reading. Lifeline,
What should I
lifeline,
go
so
to,
forth.
Dolores?
And they change from time to time during our lifespan. The other kind is hand shapes. Hand shapes is to tell our hands, our health condition according to the hand's size, the length, the width, fingers, and also the nail beds, the nails. The third kind, of course, is ours. Okay, Qi, color, and appearances. So most of you know what qi is, right? Qi is energy. Now, this is only a translation from Chinese, qi. Qi is Mandarin. Cantonese is hei. It's very different.
Yeah. Kanji, is that for all? Kanji?
Cantonese is on the southern part of China.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, kanji though, K-A-N-G-J-I.
yeah.
Is that kanji? Is that like Japanese or is that
Kanji
Chinese?
is not. Yeah, it's Japanese. Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's not Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See,
sometimes
that's,
it's hard to differentiate.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
A lot of people thought that I'm a Japanese, okay, but I'm not.
Well, I think everybody's Chinese when I look at your culture, and don't find that as an insult, but I like Chinese, right?
Thank you.
I have a new niece who's Chinese.
So our type is not based on the lines, not based on the shapes, because lines and shapes could be so various from hands to hands. It changes too. We base on some defined positions, such as this diagram here. This is the heart on our thumb. This is me, my
I
hand.
noticed that.
This is the head area. This is the lung area. This is the stomach area, and so forth. And it won't change. No matter whether you're a male or female person, no matter what age you are, or what nationalities you are, the positions are the same. So it's easier, and it's a good system that when we study, it won't change. So it's more accurate in diagnosis, okay? So these are the three types of hand diagnostic technique. So what is qi, colors, and appearances hand diagnosis? From now on, I'm going to say QCA is easier, okay? Let's go through it. Same thing, we have a systematic way of observing your hands. We observe the qi and the colors and the appearances on your hand on some defined positions. These positions reflects the viscera and or the organs of your bodies. There are two main elements of this QCA. One is called position, and the other one is called the appearance.
Does it matter which hand you read, right or left?
Yes, it matters. Man is left hand, woman is right hand. Because we have different sex organs, so when we read prostate and when we read about the reproductive organs of the women, so we have to read on the right hand for woman, left hand for the man. Okay? And position is referring to the locations on the hand, just like this, okay, as they correspond with various organs and areas of the bodies. And appearances, this is more difficult to learn. This is easy. So if you don't remember it one day, 10 days you will remember, right? But here, qi, colors, and appearances, you need a lot of practices. Especially in Canada, we find it even more difficult than in Asian. Because in China, we can hardly find colored people. They're all yellow, right? So it's easy. But here, we have a big challenge. In the Holistic World Show the other day, Alice was stuck because there was a black lady who came to our booth. She was really very black, you know, like, and when Alice looked at her hands, she looked at me, and I looked at her. She said, free of charge. Because we could hardly tell the colors, because we look at 5 colors on the hands.
Yeah.
And the only color on her hands was dark brown. So it's very, very difficult to read. But we tried. We did try, okay?
Yeah.
So this is our challenge. And one day we'd like to view all the darker people, and then we will adjust the 5 colors onto these hands. I think this is fair enough that we should promote this technique to all nationalities. And this is it, okay? When we learn, this is the part that we need to practice all the time.
Appearance, right?
So there must be some theories regarding this diagnostic technique, right? All kinds of techniques or anything that you need some theories to support it. So we have 3 basic theories to support our diagnostic technique. Number 1, is based on the ancient Chinese medicine. We didn't create a new medicine. We didn't create a new diagnostic technique. We have this kind of diagnostic technique and reflexology thousands of years ago. It's just like somehow, sometime, some fortune tellers use the hands to do palm reading, fortune telling, rather than health reading. That's why somehow the hand reading part has been lost in the general public. And whenever I read people's hand, people always ask me, "Do you do fortune telling?" I say, "No." So, "Can you tell my fortune?" I say, "I can't." But actually, originally, viewing hands is for health study. Okay, it's not for fortune telling. But somehow, when you read the health conditions, a lot of time, logically, you can tell that whether this person is a very quick person or a patient person, whether this person is under stress and couldn't sleep, okay, something to go do with it, right? So you can guess, or logically you can predict, okay, whether this person's personality is quiet, or is it, like a very aggressive one, or a very active one, or a passive one. So this is how those fortune tellers, like they're very wise people. They're very, very clever people.
I'm sure they are.
And according to statistics, they formed their kind of palm reading technology, right? Okay. So a very, very important and the first Chinese medicine book. The name is called The Yellow Emperor's Internal Classic. This book has everything, and it's the first book in Chinese medicine. It quotes that which exists internally must manifest itself externally. It also said that through visual observation, one first discerns positions, then shape and color. So we base on this old saying, and we base on this to study, and found this new hand diagnosis. There are 4 kinds of Chinese diagnostic techniques. I have my partner here. She's a TCM doctor. She does all this, okay? Saida, can you explain this 4 techniques?
With pleasure, Dolores. The 4 TCM diagnostic techniques, or the 4 diagnostics, it was developed around 200 BC, so it has survived so many millennia, and we still use it today. Before you can work with a patient, you have to understand what this means. So inspection really means looking. It's a visual inspection of the patient, the face, the nose, the eyes, the ears, and things like that. And I'm getting to that one. Thank you.
Dolores, I think you're excited.
Yeah, rightly so.
Yeah.
It tells you a great deal by looking at the chi of all these areas within the patient. But as Dolores rightly said, the tongue is one of the most important features, because it gives you a full picture of the entire body with various areas of the tongue as a map. But that's for another lengthy course. Now, auscultation, olfaction. Simply put, it means listening and smelling. Anything to do with listening, your chest, or listening to how a person's breathing. Also the voice. I'm soft-spoken, so my chi is pretty low. That's the way I was born. Dolores has a higher level of chi. So that's the difference.
Oh, okay.
It protects very well.
It would make people listen a little bit more if it was.
Now, olfaction again,
Yeah.
in terms of smelling, certain conditions, the patients will have a characteristic odor. For patients with diabetes,
Right.
the acetone breath is a stuff women use to remove nail polish.
Right, right.
And different bodily functions as well. If there's bad odor under the arms, again, there's a problem with the stomach and spleen.
Right.
Interrogation basically means asking questions. Questions about the patient's health history from the day of birth to
Right.
the current and what the current symptoms are. And then pulse feeling on palpation. Pulse, again, there's 3 areas on each wrist. I'm listening to what's going on internally. Palpation just means touching various acupuncture points. If there's sensitivity, we know there's a problem or an illness or a disease process. I'll turn this back to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and we base on this 4 diagnostic technique, and actually we're not the four. We based on the first one, the inspection. We are a succession of inspection technique. So because review, right? So there is the number two theory. This theory is based on a recent founding by Professor Zhang Yongqing. He is also from Shantung University. He's a professor there. He announced his book is the kind of a biological holography in 1973. Based on this couple bone, this section, he said that it can reflect the whole body, okay? All the viscera. Yeah, based on this section of the bones. This is his findings. And Dr. Liu Jianfeng is also graduated from Shantung University. So I think because they are all, both from there, this is why Dr. Liu Jianfeng is based on his findings too of the reflexology. And it becomes one of our basic theories for our hand diagnosis. Third, of course, is the finding by Dr. Liu Jianfeng, right? Dr. Liu, he studies all the ancient Chinese medicine books, and over 15 years, he and his disciples has been experienced and observing many thousands of patients, and they have proven that based on this diagram here, the accuracy is almost close to 80% on the diagnostic result, matching with the Western medicine diagnostic result. Our students, when they graduate, okay, here are 3 students here, okay, and when you graduated, okay, if you are close to 60% accurate, you are graduated, okay. But whether you are 70% accurate, 80% or more, that really depends on, first of all, the experience in practices. Okay, you have to practice more, just like me. Every hand I come across, I always practice. And secondly, that depends on how much medical knowledge you have. Therefore, I'm still studying Chinese medicine. This is why I know this lady from the College of Ontario College of TCM. I'm still pursuing this Chinese medicine courses.
Yeah, I really got into it too because my aunt developed a cyst in her breast that was cancerous. So I had bought a book on TCM.
Yes.
That discussed breast cancer, and that was quite informative.
Even the WHO,
Yeah.
okay, the officials, okay,
Yeah.
they encourage the integrated medicine.
Yeah.
Eastern and Western medicine integrated together to cure SARS. So actually, this is a trend of the medical world.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the past 2 decades and the coming decades, this is the trend.
People were,
Yeah.
going through that path.
No matter it's health prevention or healing, based on integrated medicine. So there are we have Western medicines, we have Eastern medicines. Eastern medicine, we have the diagnostic techniques, and Saida has just introduced, right, the four diagnostic techniques. In the Western medicine, the doctors look at your symptoms, look at your illnesses, and then he with the assistance of high-tech equipment, okay, he has some kind of diagnosis for us, something like blood test, ultrasound, X-ray, all kinds of very expensive equipment, right? And it's very accurate because with all this equipment, we can define which position of our stomach, okay, has an ulcer, and what kind is it? Is that benign or or whatever? So Western medicine is very legal because it can prove to you exactly what it is and what kind of sickness it is. Okay, Chinese medicine is based on Chinese philosophy, based on yin yang, based on 5 elements. It is so abstract that it's hard to be popular because people learning this sometimes it's hard because it's too abstract. And therefore, when I teach my course, like a hand diagnosis course, I do teach a little bit of theory of TCM, so that people will understand a little bit more about TCM, comparing it with the Western medicine. And TCM, Chinese medicine, look at the body as a whole. We call it holism. Western doctor look at our sicknesses like partly. If we have a stomach ache, he would give you some stomach pills. But when the Chinese doctor look at your stomach, if there's something wrong with your stomach, then we will say that, okay, this person has very high stress, therefore it caused some liver qi stagnation. And liver qi stagnation will affect your stomach and the spleen. And the spleen will affect your kidney. And kidney will affect your liver. Okay? Therefore, when we give you some herbs, there are 10 kinds of herbs in there, right? And then it is trying to balance the body as a whole. So it's different concept. So there is Chinese medicine, and there is Western medicine, or Eastern medicine, Indian medicine, African medicine. So why do we still need hand diagnosis?
To determine it externally, what is transpiring internally, right?
Yourself. Huh?
Actually,
Yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
You've done this course before.
No, I was just thinking logically, right?
This is why I'm here in Toronto to promote this technique, because there are many unique features that the other medicines might not have. Okay, first, simple and direct. As far as I have the eyes, normal eyesight, you have a hand. There is appropriate lighting, we can proceed. So it's very simple and it's very direct. Direct means that, I said, your heart has some problem. It's directly pinpointing to your heart. It's just like as if I have X-ray eyes.
Right.
Okay. So simple and direct. Number two, no harm. We don't use needles. We don't use equipment. You don't have to drink some chemicals inside a body. You have the test and all that. So especially for children, parents are very happy when we view at the children's hands because there's no harm, right? We just hold the hand. And then children's hands are very easy to read because they are more clear and more simple. They don't have much sicknesses. So the accuracy is higher than that of the adults. So it's no harm. Because the world health trend is like better use non-toxic, no side effects, low temperature, so forth and so forth, methods to prevent or to heal our sicknesses. So this is one of the kinds, no harm. Economical and practical. Why is it so economical? For some of you here are health practitioners. When you read your hand every day, like myself, I always read my hand every day, morning and the evening. It's different sometimes. As soon as I found out something, at once I would take some herbs, okay, to heal myself or to prevent myself. It saved me a trip to the doctor, and I don't have to buy the drugs, okay? Time is also money, right? For many medical practitioners and health practitioners, after they've learned this technique helped them to make much more money.
Yeah.
Don't you believe that? This guy, he went together with me to Beijing. Dr. So, he is a Chinese doctor. He's been practicing for some years. And how did he learn this hand diagnosis? Is one of his patients is his good friend. Somehow he went to see him for, he was sick. And this doctor could not cure him. So somehow this friend went to my teacher in Hong Kong and he learned hand diagnosis. And my teacher is a health practitioner and she helped him, just give him some herbs or something and cure his sicknesses. So this friend went back to Dr. So. He said, you cannot cure me, but teacher Wong did cure me. He said, what kind of technique is this? can you introduce me to this teacher Wong? It's okay, fine. So there he went. He learned hand diagnosis. He was on the stage in Beijing. I was in the plane with him too. He told me the story. He said, after he learned hand diagnosis, in 6 months' time, his patients increased 50%. And in Hong Kong, when we had a gathering, so the students and our colleagues, and we go to a lunch, okay, like in Hong Kong we like to 飲茶, so like Chinese dim sum. So usually we would just ask the waiter to bring us 2 pots of hot water. We don't need tea, because each one of them would take out something. Some powder, some pills, some tea bags, whatsoever. I was the only one with empty hands, so I tried everything on them. Okay? And they all have practitioners who learn this technique, and some of them are health food business people. And before they promote their health food to their clients, they diagnose the client's hands. They would be able to tell the conditions of the hand, and therefore the clients would trust them more before they recommend the appropriate products to them. So they make more business, and they establish more future relationship with their clients. So economically, it helps. It's very practical too, right? Now this, I want my students to make 4 stars on here. Early detection of sicknesses is one of the strongest points of our hand diagnosis. We have many, many experiences on early detection of sicknesses. What is the 3 major killers in North America? Do you know what kind of sicknesses? Number 1 is heart disease. Number 2, cancer. Number 3, stroke. Very good. All 100%. And these 3 sicknesses, we can view this on our hand, not too difficultly. And we can also predict that this person might have a coronary arteries clotting already. Even if he goes for some tests, cardiac test or something, they couldn't find it, but we told them that they had it. Some people might not believe that, but later when they, a lot of time they came back, they said, I really have that sicknesses. Early stage cancer is easy. It's not so easy, but we can tell from the hands. But not when you're at the final stage, okay? Because at the final stage, the person is so sick, they can't reflect anything on the hand. It has spread out. You don't know where it is. So initial stage is easier. Stroke, you can tell from here. The 2 arteries on your brain, and we can tell also, on the other positions as well, that this person is highly stressed and is very, very tight in here. So there could be some clotting on the arteries here. So if they got some excitement, it's not, uneasy that they will get a stroke.
Yeah.
So if we can predict that, what do? Just like the lady that on the plane I have saved, I use, I have a tool in my hand. It's like a pointed thing, okay? And I stimulate the points on the arteries.
On the hand.
You do tapping, right? Okay.
Acupressure, okay? This is how I help her during those 6 hours. So we can be, sometimes we can really save some people's life like this. You never know. And also by looking at the conditions and the trend of your health, you can take care of your health ahead of time. This is why we call health prevention, right? And I don't agree with this word health prevention. It should be sickness prevention, right? Health maintenance is better, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So early detection of sicknesses is a very, very important and unique feature of our hand diagnosis. 5th. Next point.
Laurie had a question.
Quick
Yes.
question. What is the percentage of accuracy of detection?
generally it's 80% when you can really manage all the techniques. Sometimes it's tired. Say for example, say Ida learns, she's triggered because she is already a TCM doctor. Okay, but when the general public learn this, okay, when they pass the exam, it's about 60%. Right, Emily? But you can raise the percentage.
You perform your students?
There are 3 students here, okay? Saida, Emily, and Alice. Alice is my first student, actually. Saida is my partner, okay, and she also wants to learn this. And that's why I taught her. And she helped me to do some of the translation into English too. Thank you, Saida. Fifth is like, it's easy to learn. Whether you are a health practitioner, whether you are a doctor, you are a, just a common person, as long as you're interested in health prevention or sickness prevention, then you can learn. I can teach you. So it's quite good. Being a doctor, you have to study at least 4 or 5 years to get a degree and then practice and practice and practice, right? Palpation is so difficult. We've learned that. It's very difficult. Have you learned that?
No.
From Dr. Wu?
No.
I think it's very, very difficult.
It's very difficult.
You need at least 10 years experience to get it accurate.
The Korean lady, Jonah, she does the pulse.
She can do that too. I can do it, but
She does-
not as
yeah.
accurate.
Okay.
Like it's easy for me. While I'm doing the pulse, I look at the hand. I can tell everything. Isn't that nice? So people won't know that I'm not very good at palpation. They thought that I'm very, very good. Okay. I'm just sneaky. And this is a point that, okay, we can persist in practice. Like being a doctor, you practice on your patients. But being a health practitioner, like a hand diagnosis practitioner, we can practice every day, right? It's easy. We can practice our own hands, our family members' hands, our friends, and it's easy for us to practice when we want to persist. And then the next point is it complementary to other forms of medicine? Whether it's Eastern or Western, it has no conflict of interest. When the Chinese doctor said that your stomach, was caused by the liver qi stagnation, okay, they give you a certain kinds of herbs to balance your health. And while the Western doctor would give you his medicine to cure your problem, right? No conflicts. But all the doctors can learn just to increase the accuracy in diagnosis. That's all. Here it is, hand therapy treatments. When you diagnose this, okay, we can treat on the hand, like acupressure. When I'm flying on the plane back to Hong Kong, that trip is so boring because it took me 15 hours on the planes, just sitting there, nothing to do. I couldn't sleep. I ate all the meals and I watched all the movies. I was still sitting there like this, so tired, I don't know where to stretch my legs, and my back was aching because, nowhere to go. So I started to massage my reflecting area on the cervical, lumbago, and all that. And I was so relaxed on my shoulders and everything. But I was overdone, okay, and my hand got swollen up. Okay? I had nothing to do, just press for 15 hours, okay? Suppose you just press 20 minutes every time, but this is a way to relax yourself because you know reflexology, right? But this is very good. So what are the benefits of learning? Let's go through this. All the people here, okay, sitting here can learn because it's easy. As long as you are a serious learner, if you listen to me and practice all the time, I guarantee that you can learn this technique. And understanding this, all the pathological changes in your body and so forth, you can benefit, of course, yourself first, right? Then your family members, and then your friends, all the people around you. Like Alice, okay, she can diagnose her children's hands. Now she's not so worried when her son gets sick, right? And she has an idea what it is. So this is very beneficial to the general public. whoever is interested in health maintenance, they can learn. Number 2, for health practitioners or professionals, after you learn this, even before the interrogation process, you can already tell the health conditions of patients without asking, right? And they can increase the diagnostic result. So to the patient, both to the patient and the doctors, would be very beneficial, isn't it? So for health food practitioners or business people, they can always analyze the client's health conditions before they promote their products to the clients. Thus, they can gain more confidence and trust in the clients.
Mm-hmm.
So economically and practically, this is a very, very good benefit. Number 3, I was number 1, then I was number 3, and I'm gradually going into number 2, okay? Number 3 is, whoever is interested in learning this hand diagnosis, one day they might want to become a teacher like me, an instructor. So you're welcome to join me in this role and help to promote this wonderful technique to all over the places. Toronto is my first city.
Mm-hmm.
So what about next? Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, wherever.
South
Then
Carolina.
San Francisco, New York, perhaps, right? So people can help. One instructor is not enough. So you can always join us. In China, some of our instructors, like who have learned this, they just take this as a career. They just make some money, and also they are practitioners. So this is the third benefit of learning this hand diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So in summary, this has been proven to people that no matter you're general public or you are practitioners, economically and practically, it really helps. I have a dream. If we can promote this to Health Canada, Jeff, can you help? Then we can tell them that this is such a good tool. We don't have to spend money, right, after we learn. We can diagnose people, we can do health prevention without using so much money in the health system, right?
Especially now when they have
Yeah,
shortage of
they always
doctors.
have deficit.
And they're cutting back now.
But they have shortage,
Yeah.
such a long waiting list for,
Yeah,
doctors.
before
and
you
surgeons.
diagnose, you already died.
But
You have to wait for 3 to 6 months to diagnose something,
They
right?
have an approved alternative health on healthcare though.
But it's so hard. I
Unfortunately.
know this
It's
is
so
only my dream.
specialty.
I don't know if my dream will come true.
You have to do lobbying.
We all have
But
the same dream.
even
like-
if we don't promote to this Health Canada, we can promote to our people.
You know, people I think are ready now to spend money on health because they have seen so
Yes.
much coming.
Yes.
And I mean, we've been there
Yes.
looking at people and they're ready to spend the money. So even if Health
Yes.
Canada is not,
It's
government is
so worth it. Once you learn this, this is going to help you for your whole life.
not,
Your lifetime will benefit from it, right? So these are the benefits, and even if you're not going to take the courses, if you know anybody who are in these practices and who would benefit from learning this, let me know. Not just because I want to make more money. Of course I want to make some money, okay, for living, but how to promote this technique to other people. We need people like words of mouth. This is why some people ask me, I want to join your class. I said, not yet. She said, why? The 2 ladies will come next week. I said, because I want serious learners. And I want to spend more time giving out free seminars before you learn. At least you know a little bit more about hand diagnosis, like today you learn more, right? Then you said, oh, it's all worth it. I'm going to learn. Although it's not too much money to learn, but still I want serious learners.
But you could, like there are a lot of individuals that just go to a general practitioner
Yes.
or an MD, and I mean, I'm quite sure if you for your marketing, you could probably put your flyer in there or put your information
I haven't
in there,
started yet.
right?
I I haven't started
But
yet.
that would be a
But
good
isn't
point
that-
of reference, right?
Actually, I only started my center
Mm-hmm.
last October.
Well, that's all right. That'll give you an idea.
The way that I've been promoting this, I've been thinking of many ways because
Mm-hmm.
I'm specialized in sales and marketing, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, how should I do this?
Mm-hmm.
This is not a product. This is a technique.
Yeah, it's
I
very
can't just
specialized
sell a
technique.
product like this
Yeah.
because this is a
It's a
technique. I have to
service.
prove to people that this is
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any advertisement or so. So I
Yeah.
sent out about 40 emails to my
Mhm.
friends,
Mm.
starting with the Chinese community. You know why? Because all the material I got was Chinese. I didn't have English material to teach. All the books and everything, because Dr. Liu Jianfeng, he doesn't know English.
Yeah.
So what can I do? So that was my difficulty in here, right? So I
Right.
started in Chinese community, and I had 2 seminars in October. About 45 people came, and
Mhm.
12 people came to attend my class.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice was the first one, because he offered me the center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and starting from there, I started to elaborate my the context. That's why I got to know Emily,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to know Saida from a association called Friends of Alternate and Complementary Therapies,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And this is how I got into holistic world show. I try to go step by step to prove to people that this is accurate. But then I want to teach my students, and my students must be good students,
Mhm.
serious learners, accurate, okay, in
Mhm.
diagnosing. Otherwise, it's very hard to promote.
Specialize in it.
Doctors, I tried.
And?
You got to be very careful.
Really?
Like conflict of interest there.
You have to find the doctors who are open-minded,
Yeah.
who accept alternate medicine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Western doctors, many of times.
But like just having the flyers out, it's not only for the doctor's benefit, but he does have patients. And then you can get referrals from the patients, students who want to learn, that will be serious, right?
Therefore, we need a very open-minded doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
start
true.
learning, some of them, they start believing in acupuncture, in herbal medicine and all the other things. Because they see too many reactions to medication they
Medication,
prescribe.
yeah.
You've got all good ideas. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually,
There's
I'm
actually
doing.
another, sorry for interrupting,
Uh-huh.
but there's another holistic show on the 18th on,
Naturopathy.
yeah, are you gonna be there?
Actually, I met with these people too.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I've got one student studying there too.
Oh, okay.
And one of the teachers, okay,
Mhm.
I'm going to meet with him.
Mhm.
And actually, naturopathists, no problem, because they're open-minded, they're studying integrated medicine anyway.
Mhm.
So they will accept all this. But not just purely Western doctors. Sometimes they are quite stick to their practice,
Mhm.
okay?
What
And-
about homeopathic?
Huh?
Homeopathic.
All kinds of
All
doctors. No
kinds,
matter
yeah.
what doctors you are, in nation, we got all kinds of doctors learning, Western and Eastern. okay?
Right.
But that depends on the person,
Yeah.
whether he or she is open-minded. That's all.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they say it takes 10-year cycle to introduce anything, and because it's quite new, when we look back, certain things, it was like a voodoo before. Now everybody's into
Everybody's,
into-
yeah.
Also, if you always do health prevention, who's going to get sick?
Yeah, that's true too.
That's a benefit.
Some doctors just want to make their money and write out prescriptions, right?
So there are many reasons. There are many reasons. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, but that's very, very good idea. Okay.
Mhm.
This is why I want to do things step by step.
Mhm.
Oh, all right. This is a certificate. You guys are going to get the certificate on May 28th. Okay. I'm going to introduce the contents of this course if you guys are interested, okay? This course, I created it in such a form that
Mhm.
it takes 30 hours once a week, 3 hours per week. And right now, I am every Wednesday night I have a class here. 11 people attended this class, but they are Chinese. So with the English class, you are my first audience of an English seminar, because I finally 2 months ago I convinced Dr. Liu, let me translate the training material and the promotion material. And finally, he nodded his head, okay? Because he owns the patent right, and he's going to have his book translated in Beijing and get the patent right.
Good.
But I explained to him that if you want me to promote this technique in Canada, this is a mainstream community. So how can I use Chinese, okay, to promote to the mainstream? Then he finally understands this, and he approved me translating this. And you are the first bunch of people reading my English seminar
That's good.
version.
That's good. That's a good plan.
And it's not perfect, but I just want to make the point and let people learn more about it before you really learn take the course, okay? So I already had one new class right now, and I want to start an English class in the beginning of June. And I make June 5th, which is a Saturday morning. I hope people can make this, okay? So after this 2-week seminar, I can confirm a date. Actually, this is not a must. That really depends on all the people's time schedules. And the minimum student per class is 6. Otherwise, it's not justified for me to open the class. Also, without 6 or 7 or above people, there's no use, because we need to view hands and practice. If just you and me, okay, we practice both hands, it's no use, right? It's not interesting. It's no fun. So now, Wednesday night, we have 11 people, plus me is 12 people. At least we can study 12 hands, right?
Right.
So it's very, very different. Last time when I asked them to just put their hands out, okay, in a circle, they said, oh, we're all different, you know? Like, then you can differentiate. If you only have 2 or 3 hands, it's no fun.
Yeah.
It's not justified for me to spend so much time, right? So 6 is minimum in the class, which makes sense.
Right.
And then I can go to north, west, or downtown area to teach. Once you form 6 people in the class, rather than 6 people coming here, okay, which is quite far sometimes for people to travel to here, right? So I can go. I held a class in Mississauga once, okay? And I went to Mississauga to a student's home. She has a big kitchen, so I taught there for 6 people. So actually, I'm quite flexible because I'm flexible. And full time here, I can, according to the time schedules, and that's why when you register on this one, I want to know where you live.
Right.
So perhaps one day I will open some seminars. I'll hold some seminars on the northern part of the city, or eastern or western part of the city, so that people can learn more. Okay, it's more convenient for the general public. So help me if you know people like this who like to listen to me, or like me to go there to hold a seminar for them. Let me know. And the fee for the whole course, including GST, training material, and also the certificate, is $550. The certificate comes from Beijing, from Dr. Liu, not me. He has all the rights, right?
Right. So you as an instructor are not allowed to authorize the certifications?
No, because he wants to control everything from Beijing.
Got it. Okay.
He sent me all the. I sent him the result of the exam. We have a little exam, okay?
Right.
Everybody passed. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I send the result back to him, and he will issue the certificate and send them back to me.
Oh, really? Eh?
On this month, on May 28th.
Yeah.
May 28th is a Friday evening. Opposite to here, there's a Oriental Plaza.
Palace?
Yeah, Palace. There's a restaurant there. We're going to have a first graduation dinner there.
Oh,
You're all
yeah.
welcome to come. It's
Oh, okay.
$29 per person.
Right.
And besides presenting the certificates to the students, okay, some of our students are very talented people. They want to play Chinese harp. Some of them like to sing and so forth.
Oh,
Okay.
talent show too.
Amateur
Yeah,
night.
if you have any talents, let me know. You can perform in my in our dinner. So this is about the course, and actually during and after the course, I always will arrange viewing trips in the general public or in some senior homes for the students to practice more. Okay, especially for the old people's hands. They have at least 4 to 10 kind of sicknesses because they are old, right? And it's more challenging for us to view. Rather than just the 10 or 6 people in the class, right? We need practices. So we have volunteers coming in here and then we go out there. And this is why at the Holistic World Show, my students go there. I don't pay them. They're all volunteers, but they want to come to learn because they have a chance to look at more hands. Okay, let's look at the black person's hand, although it was so challenging, but still we have the chance, okay? But not all the darker color has very dark hands though. We viewed many hands, their hands are not dark, so we can see. Okay, I viewed many hands like
Yeah,
this
the
too.
pigmentation is different.
Yeah. And this fall, the date was not fixed yet, I will select some representative to come with me to Beijing to attend the 3rd conference of hand diagnosis. Then you will take another picture of us, okay? And this time is at the City Hall of Beijing.
Wow.
We have the honor to do that. So that's coming with me, right? Yeah. And her
How long
husband.
do you go? It's a
I
week.
love it.
Actually, conference is 3 days, but you have to have 1 day ahead of time to check in, and 1 day, you know, like
Yeah.
for closing. The first day is opening, okay, 5 to 6 days, and then if you fly so far, you won't just stay there
You wanna
for
see something,
5
yeah.
days. You must go to see the Great Wall, the palace, and everything,
sister,
right?
yeah.
So for me, we always go back to Hong Kong as well, you know, like because it's too far to fly. Okay, so hopefully I can bring some students back, and then I can bring a report back to just to stay on the stage and saying that I viewed some darker color people, and this is our finding. So this is going to be different. Okay, I think this is all for today's presentation. So students could not come on Sunday, they come on Tuesday, and some could not come on Tuesday.